The arts have taken a huge hit over the last 2 years.
57% of creative workers went on unemployment during COVID, and Minnesota lost $2.2 billion in revenue.
Help us pass our bill to grant $100 million to the arts and cultural groups who were hurt by the pandemic. It's Arts Action Week, and we need your help to show that people across the state want to see funding for the arts. Learn more and sign up at artsmn.org. It's Arts Action Week, and we need your help to show that people across the state want to see funding for the arts. Help us pass our bill to grant $100 million to the arts and cultural groups who were hurt by the pandemic at artsmn.org. The arts have taken a huge hit over the last 2 years.
57% of creative workers went on unemployment during COVID, and Minnesota lost $2.2 billion in revenue.
Help us pass our bill to grant $100 million to the arts and cultural groups who were hurt by the pandemic. It's Arts Action Week, and we need your help to show that people across the state want to see funding for the arts. Learn more and sign up at artsmn.org. It's Arts Action Week, and we need your help to show that people across the state want to see funding for the arts. Help us pass our bill to grant $100 million to the arts and cultural groups who were hurt by the pandemic at artsmn.org.
Hi, I am Sarah Fossen, the Executive Director of Minnesota Citizens for the Arts. Now, this is my first Arts Advocacy Day as Executive Director, and I am honored to be here. I actually grew up in Glenwood, Minnesota. My mom was an art teacher. I studied art at Concordia Moorhead, and my first job in college was at the Rourke Art Museum in Moorhead. Art has always been a big part of my life, and advocating for the arts is a longtime dream that I'm so excited for. When I started in this position, the first thing I did was travel around the state to meet with each of the 11 regional arts councils. I met with incredible arts organizations and artists. These meetings and hearing how the stories about how arts have impacted every area of our state is what fuels our work at MCA every day. Now, even though we couldn't meet in person, we're pretending to be at the Capitol today, minus the echoes. But I'm so thrilled that you could be here with us. Thank you for joining together today as part of MCA's Art Action Week. Please welcome Governor Tim Walz.
Hello, Governor Tim Walz here. I'm excited to welcome you all, albeit virtually, to the 2022 Arts Advocacy Week. Thank you for your dedication to the arts all across Minnesota. Your advocacy is essential to ensure proper funding and support for the arts. The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic has not been borne equally, and I know that our arts community was hit particularly hard, but we're getting to a much better spot. We have vaccines, our booster shot numbers are high, and testing and supplies that we couldn't have imagined just a few short months ago. We have all those things. With all of these tools to fight this virus, Minnesota is making strides towards where we once again can gather in concert venues, theaters, and museums. The arts play a critical role in the culture and vibrancy of our communities. And as governor, I'm committed to making sure that we're supporting the arts. Please urge your legislators to support and protect arts fundings in our state. Thank you for all you do, and good luck with your advocacy this week.
In Minnesota, the arts are more than $2 billion of our state's economy. Arts and culture nonprofits pay workers and support local businesses. Artists and creative workers are local businesses, building good things in our neighborhoods. Audiences attending arts events are spending more money in our communities, buying gas, paying for parking, dining in restaurants and bars, and shopping along the way. They spend nearly $23 per person per event, in addition to the cost of their tickets. The arts make an economic impact in every region of the state. Minnesota is the arts epicenter of the Midwest. Minnesota has double the arts economy of Wisconsin, 11 times that of North Dakota, and 12 times the arts economy of South Dakota. Why do 70% of Minnesotans believe that arts and culture are an important sector of our economy? Because when we support the arts give back.
Again, thank you so much for joining together today as part of MCA's Arts Action Week. Again, we're virtual, but I can still feel the energy and excitement from each of you. This is the important way that you can help the arts and culture community flourish in Minnesota. By advocating for arts funding at Minnesota's Capitol, you are paving the way for increased funding for theaters and galleries and performances and projects happening in communities across the state. Arts keep Main Street alive. When COVID hit 2 years ago, we watched as theaters lowered their curtains and turned off their marquees. Arts in the parks were canceled, where people gathered with their communities. Gallery doors were shut, museums had to lay off staff. Dancers froze in midair, painters' paintbrushes paused, a poet's words hung in the air. There was a collective pause. And then the arts and culture community did what they do best. They got creative. Some performances began to stream online. Art was sold online. Activities were moved outside. Arts also continued to bring the community together in new ways. Lobbies became food shelves for the community. Murals were painted to keep hope alive. Classes helped provide an outlet for the frustration and hopelessness, and communities found solace and healing and an escape through the arts. Art brings communities together. Arts and culture heals communities. Arts and culture makes Minnesota a great place to visit. Arts and culture makes Minnesota a great place to work. Arts and culture makes Minnesota a great place to live. Every part of our lives was impacted by the pandemic. Schools, grocery stores, workplaces, hospitals, every aspect of our life. We are hopeful that each of these sectors have and will get the support they need to thrive post-pandemic. This week, however, we have the opportunity to talk about how Minnesota's arts and culture sector was hit disproportionately hard by the pandemic. Over half of arts and culture workers were unemployed by July 2020, and arts venues are still struggling to open and operate at full capacity. Minnesota arts and culture organizations lost $2.2 billion in revenue and resulted in laying off 62,000 people. COVID had a massive impact on our community, but it hit Minnesota arts and culture nonprofits hard. That's why we need the legislature to pass the one-time arts and culture COVID rescue legislation. Our key message this year is simple and straightforward. We need your support of one-time COVID relief funds to help arts and culture across the state. This is the right time and the right way to use COVID relief funds to to help a key part of our economy that will benefit the entire state. Minnesota Citizens for the Arts is the nation's largest and strongest arts advocacy organization because of each of you. We have a strong and unified voice that comes together to rally for arts funding. Each conversation you have with your legislators today helps move us closer to getting funding. We have a team of staff, volunteer leadership, lobbyists, and partners who are here today and cheering you on. Let me begin by introducing our lobbyist, Margaret Vessel from Larkin Hoffman. Their team of 9 lobbyists are working hard at the Capitol, making sure that legislators and the governor's office are aware of our bill and the needs of the arts community. Please welcome Margaret.
Good morning. Thank you, Sarah. It's an honor and a privilege to be here today. As Sarah said, Larkin Hoffman is now the lobbyist here for the Minnesota Citizens for the Arts. We have a 9-member government relations team. We pride ourselves on being able to reach all 201 legislators. We have a bipartisan approach, and we believe will be the best fit for you to get this bill done this legislative session. It's important to remember as we are starting to move forward with legislative meetings that this is a one-time COVID relief bill that provides $100 million this year for grants to nonprofit arts and culture organizations that have suffered financial losses during the COVID-19 pandemic. As we work at bringing both sides of the aisle together to support the arts, it's amazing to watch their faces when we tell them about the economic impact of the arts and culture in the arts and culture sector in Minnesota. That's a $12.2 billion that's generated annually to Minnesota from the creative community. And it supports about 108,000 jobs. The economic impact is bigger than the agriculture industry. And I don't think that's something that's known from many people. It's a huge industry that really betters the state of Minnesota. It is also our job at Larkin Hoffman to show the impact of COVID has had on the sector, with 57% of creative workers losing their jobs because of the pandemic. The industry took a $2.2 billion hit. Nothing is more powerful than our work at the Capitol with legislators to hear directly from their constituents, you all. So as things kind of, as you're talking to legislators, if you can tell them about your experiences in your communities with your museums and theaters and how that impacted what happened when they went dark and how that impacted Main Street, I think that will be very convincing. They hear from us every day, and having voices from their community and better understanding the impacts to their local community will be a much more impactful conversation to be having. At this time, I really want to thank you all for helping us with your strong voices, and we will work our magic and work with you to try to get this thing past this legislative session. I would like to today just tell you a little bit about who's going to be talking to you. We have Senator Carrie Ruud, who is the chair of the Legacy Committee in the Senate, as well as our bill author in the Senate. Senator Julie Rosen, who's the chair of the Finance Committee in the Senate and a longtime arts supporter. Senator Karen Housley, she is a senator from Oak Park Heights, Stillwater area. She is a co-author on the bill and a big supporter of the arts and culture community. And finally, Majority Leader Jeremy Miller from the Senate will also be talking with us. Today, I have the honor and privilege of introducing a former Ovation winner, as well as an All-Star Arts recipient. And we are so very happy to have him. Representative Leon Lilly is the chair of the Legacy Committee in the House, and he is also the co-author of our bill in the House. And we will be working closely with him this legislative session to try to get things moving as it pertains to the budget, but our budget request. So with that, Representative Lilly, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good job. Welcome everyone. Arts Day is one of my favorite days of the year. I dug out my pin. As you can see here, I had it sitting right behind me here with a little bit of hardware you guys gave me. That's pretty nice. But you know, this is a great day. The arts for me as a chair is a area of love, and I love, you know, historically where you folks come down and visit and see you in person. It's just been it's really been a, you know, a good experience, and you know, just a variety of people that come in, you know, in person, and I know you're going to be able to pull that off today. But you know, the arts community, as you're hearing over and over, and I know you that live and work in this area, is just really getting hit hard, and so we do have this COVID bill that we're working on, the relief bill, and Senator Rosen and myself are the authors. I'm an author on the House side, and I've just last week I had a great conversation with the speaker about it. They're starting to develop targets and try to figure out, you know, what to do with money and that sort of thing. And so we're working on that and trying to figure out a path forward to succeed. And I know there's been good conversations with the governor. I call it the corner office across the street here, but you know, and it was neat to see him speak on your opening there towards the front. But you know, we're in a good position, I think, to do it. You know, luckily the economy's strong, and we're getting some help from the federal government, and that's what this money is intended for, to help folks like yourselves that are greatly impacted. And we need you to thrive, and some of that's heard in the numbers, the jobs, and how important that is. It's, you know, obviously the actors out front and you know, the artists, but it's there's a lot of people involved in the back scene, or the back of the stage, and you know, they're vital, you know, doing sets and everything else. So there's just a spiral of economic, I think they said, and then people spend money when they come to an event. But I, you know, being chair of Legacy, I know you've been great stewards, the art community, of the money, and Senator Ruud and I have put a, you know, a strong bill together the last couple bienniums, but you know, protecting the 47% going to the arts. But you have been good stewards, so that makes it an easy sell for us. I just really thank you for coming out today for Arts Advocacy Day. Please reach out to members, whether that's, you know, through this, you know, today, but just keep reaching out through session and then through the year, just to say how important it is, the work that you're doing, and put a personal face on things. And I want to thank the art community for kind of meeting the times too. I just think like the Children's Theater, for example, just that play that they zipped out pretty quick in the timeline of plays, and kind of meeting, you know, the Floyd kind of thing. But really, the arts community is just so vital for our quality of life. Sarah said that in her introduction, and it really makes Minnesota a great place to live. But please enjoy your day. But you know, it's an important fight, and this $100 million would go a long way to help, you know, to relieve some of the pain and that the groups are going through. But thank you, everyone, and I hoping to get out and enjoy your products. Thank you.
Hello, arts advocates. Welcome. I'm State Senator Julie Rosen, and thank you for participating here at the Capitol. COVID has absolutely had a lasting and devastating impact across the state, and the arts were not immune. It's extremely important that you are here to advocate for the arts. Your voice does make a difference. And I must say, I am so proud of our gems on the prairie in my district: Fairmont Opera House, the Jackson Center for the Arts, and Project GEM. So again, thank you again for being here. I'm very proud to support all the arts.
Good morning. I'm Senator Carrie Ruud, Senate District 10, all of Aiken and Crow Wing County, and I'm so excited to talk to you this morning. You know, I wish we could be together, My favorite memory is up on my wall when you gave me the Citizen of the Arts Award. And on the bottom picture, it's where we are all together, hundreds of us together at the History Center. And it was just a great memory for me. And then last year, I was so proud when I got the Standing O. What an amazing sculpture. And so today I want to ask you to continue to advocate for the arts. It's so very important. When I took over the Legacy Amendment 6 years ago now, can you believe it? I promised you that you would get your 47% in every funding bill. And I have fulfilled that promise. And it's because that you come to the Capitol and you talk to your legislators and you tell them how important the arts is to the state of Minnesota. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I hope you have a fabulous day.
Hey, art advocates, State Senator Karen Housley here. I represent Forest Lake, Stillwater, and the surrounding St. Croix Valley. Thank you so much for being part of Art Advocacy Day at the Capitol. And it's so important that your voices are heard here in St. Paul. COVID hit the arts really hard. I don't need to tell you, but it quite basically stunk. But now things are starting getting back to a little bit normal, and hopefully more normal by the summer. Hope to see you out there at the festivals. We are looking for more ways that we can fund our arts. A couple of projects in my district was lucky to get money in 2021, and so we will continue through all of us here at the legislature to find more resources for the arts, because we do know how important it is to you and to all of our communities. So enjoy your day here virtually. Can hardly wait to see you at a summer festival. See you later. Bye-bye.
Hi folks, I'm Senate Majority Leader Jeremy Miller, and I want to take an opportunity to welcome you to Arts Advocacy Day on the Hill here at the state capitol. Unfortunately, it looks like you can't be here in person, but it feels like you are, and I just want you to know that your grassroots efforts make a strong impact here at the Capitol. So thank you for all you do. We know that arts have a huge effect on everything we do here in the state of Minnesota, and I just want to thank you for being involved and participating in Arts Advocacy Day on the Hill.
Good morning. I'm Ross Willits, the current board chair of MCA. Thank you so much for being here today. This is the time in the program when we usually give out awards to important arts advocates. And this year, I'm happy to announce that the award goes to every one of you. Here you are, early on a Monday morning, and you're here because you care passionately about the arts in Minnesota, and you showed up. You showed up because you know that when we work together, we can do great things. You know this because you are artists and arts workers, and it's what we do every day. But I want to acknowledge that these days, showing up itself is heroic. In the past 2 years, we've all gone through some things. There isn't a person on this Zoom who doesn't know someone who has lost someone to COVID. Of the nearly 300 people signed up for Advocacy Week, statistically, nearly 200 have been unemployed, laid off, or furloughed in the past 2 years. And I would dare say that the rest have taken major hits to their income and have had their work drastically change. We have all experienced the trauma of the murders of George Floyd, Daunte Wright, and Amir Locke, and the convulsions of anger and grief those events brought to the surface. And now, moment by moment, we see the horrors of Russia's war of aggression in Ukraine. How does a community survive all of this? Through the arts. We come together to share collective expression. We share our most personal pain and transform it into healing. Through the arts, communities can find common ground and common purpose. Through your work as artists, arts workers, and arts advocates, our state is transformed. Arts Action Week is our time to celebrate and acknowledge all that our work does to bring us together and make our world livable. Thank you for showing up today and this week. Thank you for showing up and making a difference every day. I want to take just a few more moments to recognize some all-stars in particular. The amazing MCA board, 36 volunteers from across the state who show up and make this work possible, from individual artists and educators to leaders of our largest institutions. From War Road to Caledonia, Grand Marais to Worthington, they're all here to keep this essential advocacy work going. The MCA Executive Committee, who are immersed in the day-to-day governance of MCA. All of our past board chairs who have given so much of their time, love, and expertise, with special thanks today to Sandy Bourne-Barrett and Marianne Ofterhide. Thank you too to the Advocacy Committee, and especially our chair, Michael John Peace, who have all worked so hard to make this week special. And finally, thank you to our small but mighty staff, who are the ones who really make this work happen. Our intern, An Nguyen, who has done so much to wrangle the dozens of legislator meetings this week. Mark Albers, our operations manager, who is an absolute Jedi master, and for 15 years has been the quiet strength behind all of this work. And of course, our new executive director, Sarah Fossen, whose vision for MCA is transforming how our work is done, how we share information with you, and how you share information with us. It's a vision of a more inclusive MCA that will be responsive to our members' needs and will amplify your voices to bring about the sustainable future we all strive for. Thank you, and let's have a great Arts Action Week.
Thank you so much, Ross. We also have some incredible partners this year. It's our pleasure to join forces this year with the Minnesota Humanities Center and their executive director, Kevin Lindsay. They are the kind of culture piece of arts and culture COVID relief. They are working in lockstep with us as we fight hard for this much needed funding for the arts and culture community. Please welcome Kevin.
Thanks, Sarah. Again, my name is Kevin Lindsay, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Minnesota Humanities Center CEO. I'm so glad to be with you here today to advocate on behalf of the COVID relief bill to support arts and culture in the state of Minnesota. The Minnesota Humanities Center, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Minnesota Humanities Center, is an affiliate with the National Endowment for the Humanities. We have been in the state for more than 50 years, and our vision is a just society that's curious, connected, and compassionate. Curious that we come to conversations with an open heart and open mind. Connected that we see ourselves tied to a garment of mutual destiny. What impacts one impacts all. And compassionate that we're motivated beyond empathy toward action. And we like to think of the humanities as storytelling. Storytelling that helps us make sense of our unique human condition. Storytelling that helps us understand our family, our friends, our culture, what motivates us, what stirs the emotions inside of us. Storytelling as it relates to the organization of civilization or democracy or governments that we find ourselves within. Individuals, families, communities, government. These are a lot of the same things that we share and value with the arts. We know that the arts stirs people's emotions. We know that arts stirs how we think about ourselves. We know that arts can also influence how government interacts with its citizens. That's why we're so happy today to be a supporter with the Minnesota Citizens for the Arts to support this COVID relief bill for the arts and the humanities. Prior to serving as the CEO of the Minnesota Humanities Center, I had the good fortune also of serving in state government and in the cabinet of Governor Mark Dayton. So I want you to please appreciate that I have some unique insight of what I'm going to say to you. Your voice when you meet with your legislator and you tell your story and you make it personal has such a huge impact as to what goes on at the legislature. Sometimes we think that it's all facts and figures, and yes, that's important. But what's also critically important is be able to make the story real. So our voices today on this Advocacy Day are so critically important to be able to share those stories, to personalize the impact that we are all bringing to the state of Minnesota. On my refrigerator at home for my 3 boys, we have this saying, It's important to go out and do well in the world, but it's more important to do good. And I love to think that we at the Minnesota Humanities Center, and I know that the folks at the Minnesota Citizens for the Arts, understand that this relief bill will help us make sure that we have the lights on so we can continue to do good in the world. So I look forward to the great work we're going to do today. More importantly, I look forward to the great work we're going to do going forward to make Minnesota truly one of the leading states in the United States.
Thank you so much, Kevin. As many of you know, MCA is the advocacy arm of the arts ecosystem for the state, and we rely on the Minnesota State Arts Board and a network of 11 regional arts councils to grant arts funds across the entire state. These individuals and organizations not only connect us to the arts and cultural organizations, but they're also responsible for equitably dispersing state funds to communities in towns across Minnesota. Please join me in thanking all of them. And also please join me in welcoming Sue Jentz, Executive Director of the Minnesota State Arts Board.
Good morning, arts advocates. I'm so glad to have this opportunity to say hello and to thank you for taking time to participate in Minnesota's Arts Action Week 2022. I really wish we were meeting in person. I miss seeing each of you and having a chance to catch up on all the things you're doing. But even though we can't be together, I feel your passion, I feel your commitment, and I feel your energy this morning. And I know that legislators will too during your meetings this coming week. It's no secret that the coronavirus pandemic has had a terrible impact on creative individuals and organizations all across the state of Minnesota. Tens of thousands of jobs in the arts have been cut. Independent artists and people who work as freelancers have lost opportunities to make and share their work, and they've lost their livelihoods. And Minnesotans have lost the opportunity to gather together to enjoy performances or exhibitions or concerts. Through it all, although the challenges have been profound, you have been undeterred. At a time when we most needed to connect with one another and support one another, the virus has prevented us from doing so, but that didn't stop you. You used your creativity to work and find ways to safely engage with audiences, students, and participants, whether that was online, whether that was outside, or through all sorts of drop-off, drive-by, walk-by, and even boat-in activities. During this time, the Arts Board has done what it can to try to help sustain artists, arts organizations, and arts activities, but more support is needed. That's why this new piece of proposed legislation that you'll be talking about this week is so important. It would provide much needed additional financial relief to Minnesota's arts and culture sector, and that would be over and above the support that the Minnesota State Arts Board and the Regional Arts Councils will be able to provide. I want to close today with two thank yous. First, a thank you to Minnesota Citizens for the Arts for rallying us this week and for the work that they are doing to expand the number of allies and advocates out there working on behalf of the arts. And lastly, but most importantly, I want to thank you for being that person, the person who will speak to legislators this week and through the remainder of this legislative session to share your stories about the importance of the arts in your life, in your family's life, in your community, and in our state. I hope you'll enjoy your meetings this week. I'm confident that you'll persuade legislators to increase their support for the arts, and I'm so very grateful for everything that you do all throughout the year to make the arts available and accessible to all Minnesota residents and communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sue. And thank you to all of our partners, our board and committee leadership. I need to say another special thank you to Mark Albers, our operations manager, who coordinated over 100 Zoom calls with over 400 people, and our intern An Nguyen for all of her help also in scheduling all these meetings, and Aaron Fitzraditz for making this Zoom today work. Again, we couldn't do this without all of their help behind the scenes. Also, thank you again to Margaret Vessel and the team at Larkin Hoffman working hard every day up at the Capitol for us. And thank you to the legislators who are willing to take these meetings They've been receptive, they're open, and they're excited to meet with you today. And again, most importantly, thank you, advocates across the state. With a strong, unified voice, we can make life-changing impact in our communities. We can bring back jobs to towns across the state. Marquees can light up our main streets. Songs can fill a hall filled with people. We can get lost enjoying a museum. We can watch our children light up when they see something new, and our minds can wander as we experience something for the first time. Arts bring us together. Arts keep Main Street alive. You are the key to making this happen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, this is the end of our rally, but for those of you who haven't been an advocate in the past or you want a refresher course, stay tuned to the first time advocate training with our advocacy committee chair, Michael John Peace. And again, thank you and have a great Arts Action Week.
Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us for Arts Action Week. I'm so excited you're here to lend your voice to our efforts at the Capitol. I'm Michael John Peace from the MCA board. I'm going to walk you through what being on a virtual visit with a legislator looks like. Our purpose this week is twofold. First of all, we want you to go online and sign the petition to add your voice to the collective, just in case you can't make it to a legislative visit. Once you're in a legislative visit, there's three simple things we want you to do. We want you to reinforce the message of the day. If you can speak to a specific grant or a project that shows the impact of dollars in your district, that's always a bonus. And please remember to stay on message. We're here for one purpose this week. Lending your voice, you can make the struggle real. Offer a story about how COVID has impacted you or your organization. And if you have a story that demonstrates resilience about how you or your organization are working to reach audiences, students, or experiencing the risks of reopening, such as bringing on staff and hiring artists, but not getting the audiences you need, that'll be an important message as well. What's the overall message of the day? Fortunately, it's a simple one. We need your support of one-time COVID relief funds to help arts and culture across the state. So now to give you a taste of what this is all really going to look like on Zoom, I'd like to introduce my fellow players for a mock legislative visit. Thank you, Faye Price, Ross Willits, Tamara Nadell, and Sandy Boren-Barrett. I'll be back afterwards so we can have a quick debrief.
Good morning, Senator Price. We are arts advocates from Minnesota Citizens for the Arts, and we really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to hear what we have to say and to spend some time with us during Arts Action Week. My name is Ross Willits. I'm the team leader of this wonderful group of advocates. And we have a couple of messages that we want to make sure you hear. And then each of the advocates will share some things about themselves.
Thank you so much, Ross. I'm Michael John Peace. I worked in a small rural arts center in a large Twin Cities theater. And with the risks our sector is facing this year, I feel really passionate about our message today. Thank you so much for letting us share it with you, Senator. Our message is a simple one. We need your support of one-time COVID relief funds to help arts and culture across the state. We have sent your office a list of all the state arts grants that have gone to your district, Senator, and my colleagues here have great stories to share. Would you like to say anything before I pass it off to them?
Just simply welcome. It's always a pleasure to have arts advocates here visiting. You are a force. I can only imagine that this has been a difficult year for you, but happy to have you here and would love to hear from all of you.
Thank you, Senator. I'm going to introduce Tamara Nadell from Ragamala Dance Theater.
Senator Price, thanks so much for meeting with us today. I wanted to give you just a little story about how we've been doing this year. As you said, it's a rough year for everybody. For Ragamala, we've had about 25% of our operating budget cut just from performances that needed to be canceled due to physical distancing regulations. But, you know, like so many of us in the community, we haven't given up. We've transferred a lot of our work to digital platforms. We've been doing live stream performances and artist talks that connect directly with people in their homes to build empathy and build community and offer resilience and joy and hope and connection in a time when there's so much isolation and anxiety. And we've been able to reach more than 94,000 people through our free digital season this year. But of course, that doesn't bring in incomes. So we have really been relying on our community to support us. And the Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the General Arts Fund are such a huge part of that. We've had people tell us that our work is a balm in a bizarre and tragic time. That's a quote from someone. So thank you so much for hearing us today. And thank you for your past support. And we hope you will continue that in the future.
Thank you for the work you do.
Thank you.
Sandy Bourne-Barrett from Stages Theater, would you like to speak?
I would love to. Thank you for letting us come and visit you today. It's not the same as walking around the Capitol, but nothing is the same. It's a grand day when we can all walk around and visit with each other and with all of our constituents. And we appreciate you taking the time for us. I work at a theater that serves young audiences. And in this time, theater and the arts is actually been an important part of their life, even virtually. We have considered what we're offering these young people as essential. We are essential workers providing arts activities for families who are at home struggling. They're teaching their kids from home. They need opportunities for their kids to experience the joy the arts bring and to take classes online. We have young people who this is so ingrained in who they are as young people that we have stayed open regardless of the fact that it makes no economic sense at all. We continue to provide opportunities for our families and young people because it's important. It's important to them and their mental health. It's important to the teachers that are needing support and virtual field trips. And we are able to do so because of the support we get from the legislature. And I am hopeful that you see the impact that we make as artists and as educators in the field for young people and their families. And we appreciate all the support you've given us in the past. And we look forward to coming back stronger and being the fuel to the economy that the arts are.
Well, you're all doing great work. Who could have predicted that we would be in this place? I love the way that all of you have, to use an oft-used word, pivoted to doing your work online. I do sometimes have a concern about those people that don't have access to computers, and if indeed the arts are so important, what can you do about reaching them? But it's really good to see you all and to hear what you're doing. Again, I can certainly appreciate what a tough year it's been. And hopefully we can continue this funding. I know that I will be doing what I can to continue the funding, and I hope that we have enough support so that all of the funding continues to reach you and the wonderful work that you do. So thank you.
Thank you, Senator. And I just want to say before we go that I really believe that the arts are going to be essential as part of building back after COVID. Mm-hmm. I've heard from hospitality folks, the restaurant folks, the event folks, that they don't feel ready to open fully until there are arts events that can bring the people to downtowns, to other places. And so a part of having a new thriving economy for all of the industries that have been hurt by COVID, the arts are going to be central and to getting people back together and getting them out. And that's so vital, especially as we come back out of this. And it's going to have an enormous impact across the entire state's economy.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Thank you. Thank you.
Good
to meet you
all.
all.
So much for your time.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so what did you think of that? Hopefully it wasn't totally terrifying. Here's some takeaways from my perspective, having been in many legislative visits that I saw in this one. The team leader really managed the meeting. Our team leaders are experienced with talking to legislators, no matter the forum, and in keeping the message on track. So you can relax. I loved how Tamara was able to share an impressive number of how many people her organizations reached and an audience story. That's just a magic combination. So if you've got one or the other or both of those, man, we're glad you're here. I love how Sandy underscored that their online programs make no financial sense, which really emphasizes the need and value of public funding and the fact that the arts give back to Minnesotans. And Ross was very clear about the message of the day and that we in the arts are part of the economic recovery. So good luck with your legislative visits. Please remember to sign the petition to record your voice just in case you can't join us for a visit. And if you've got questions this week, email your questions to mark@artsmn.org. Watch your inbox for the links to your legislative meetings and other upcoming events. Thank you so much for being part of Arts Action Week. I know we're going to do great. Thank you.